This is my 4th grade Nebraska project, and it is called What Makes Nebraska Famous? Famous people, famous inventions, and much more. Hey folks, welcome back from the commercial break we didn't have. In fact, we didn't even have the break. Now we're going to talk about Johnny Carson, who was born on October 23rd in 1925 in Iowa, but moved to Nebraska at age 8 and considered Nebraska his home his whole life. Now, at age 12, Johnny Carson started performing magic. And, well, I guess he performed his whole life. Johnny Carson at at age 18, joined the Navy and continued doing magic for the shipmates. After the war, he decided to go to the University of Nebraska. In 1962, Carson became the host for The Tonight Show in New York City, which is a show just like Ellen or modern-day Jimmy Kimmel, if you watch that. And when he did The Tonight Show, he won, it was an Emmy Award-winning show, and he did it for 3 years, or 3 decades. 30 years, or 3 decades. And he died in 2005, which is only a decade ago. And if you're wondering what year it is 2015. An astronaut from Nebraska is who we're going to talk about now. His name, Clayton Anderson. He was born in 1959 in Omaha, Nebraska, hometown Ashland, Nebraska. He graduated from Hastings College in Hastings, Nebraska. Where else? Started at NASA in 1983. In 2007, he spent 5 months on the International Space Station. Nice. In 2013, Anderson retired from NASA, which means he might not be dead now. Now we're going to talk about a president of the USA from Nebraska. President Gerald Ford of the United States of America. Born July 14th, 10 days after the USA's birth, 1913, right here in Omaha, Nebraska, which is where you get it. His original name was Leslie King Jr. after his father, but it was changed later to his stepfather's name, Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford went to the University of Michigan and played football. He was so good. He was offered to play for the Packers for professional for the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Instead of playing football, he went to Yale Law School. Woo! He was a congressman for 25 years and was planning on retiring, but then became vice president. After a vice president resigned, which means quit, then he became the president when President Nixon resigned due to a scandal. Woo ha 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 ha. Died in California at age 93. Lived longer than any other president. Author from Nebraska, Mary Sandos. She has a Millard Elementary School named after her. She was born May 11th, 1897. Lived in rural Nebraska. wrote an autobiography where she told about her and her brother had to search for 12 hours in a blizzard to find their cattle. She had snow blindness for 6 weeks and went permanently blind in one eye. Later wrote a biography of her father called Old Jules. Also, Crazy Horse. Her nickname, Story Catcher of the Plains. She sadly died in 1966. Now we're going to talk about the inventions of this section. We only have 2 due to limited time frame, but we'll get through it. Now we're going to talk about Kool-Aid from Hastings, Nebraska. It was invented by Edwin Perkins in 1927, originally named Fruit Smack. Of course, this was originally in bottles and was inconveniently shipped, so he made a powdered version of it that could be sent in envelopes and then turned into liquid that he renamed Kool-Aid. And now, that's your story on Kool-Aid. Now we're going. Dorothy Lynch salad dressing was invented in St. Paul, Nebraska. In the 1940s, a woman named Dorothy Lynch and her husband had a restaurant. The customers loved her salad dressing and would bring bottles from home and ask her to fill them just because they loved it so much. It became known as Dorothy Lynch salad dressing in excuse me while I sneeze. Wait, I'm not sneezing, never mind. In 1964, in 1964, a company bought her recipe and opened a factory in Columbus, Nebraska. It is still made in Nebraska today. Dun dun dun! Here are some fun facts we hope you'll enjoy about Nebraska to show that not only have people and inventions made Nebraska famous, but so have many, many other things. Here's some fun facts to tell you about them. Nebraska is the only state with a unicameral legislative system. Nebraska started the 911 emergency system. Nebraska has the biggest aquifer of any state in the United States of America. Nebraska has the world's largest woolly mammoth fossil. Wait, what is that? Oh, Nebraska sits on the 100th meridian. Kearney is exactly between Boston and San Francisco, the exact halfway point. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, but these are not the only people, inventions, and interesting things that have made Nebraska famous. Many, many more people, inventions, and even more things have made Nebraska famous. And you could be the one who grows up and does something cool to make Nebraska famous. You could be the one who invents something new. You could be the one who does something like start a new emergency system or something. Oh, and there's one fun fact I forgot. The one railroad company when the railroad thing was starting in USA that started on the eastern side started in Omaha, Nebraska. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and like. Also, please no negative comments. People hate it when you do that. We will delete them.